Hi, this is a 2018 Ford Explorer. I believe it's an XLT with a stealth package. Anyway, the driver's seat heaters don't work. The passenger seat does work. And I've had this one apart before, and this time I'm going to make a video of me taking it apart. I haven't checked the fuse, so there's some things you can't check, like check the fuses, make sure the fuses are okay. In this case, the little 3 red lights on the dash, when you push the seat heater button, those 3 lights work, and you scroll through them, but the seat still doesn't have any heat. And this is also, the seat, it only has the seat heaters, it does not have the cooled seats. That's a whole nother possible issue. A lot of those have plug problems, and you'll see some other videos on that. This just has heated seats, it's got smaller plugs, and it sounds like the usual problem is the heating element pads themselves. There's a pad in the seat and there's a pad in the back of the seat. And those 2 pads are wired in series. So they're in line with each other. They're not in parallel, they're not separate circuits, they're one circuit. So we can check the resistance of the seat pads a couple different ways. I'm going to try and check the resistance of the 2 pads together. The resistance of each pad, each element, should be somewhere around 1.5 to 5 ohms, probably runs more towards the low side. So the trick here is I'm going to get the seat loose, tip it up so I can get access to the plugs and the wiring. And if I do confirm that we do have an element out, I'm going to go ahead and pull the seat out so we can take the seat apart a lot easier than trying to take it apart inside the car. So thanks for your patience. Let's get started on how to get the seat out of here and then get to the connections. Before we take any electrical connectors apart, we'll disconnect the battery. But in the meantime, I've got to move the seat back and forth to get access to the fasteners. The first fasteners are underneath these covers here in the front on each side, and you push the cover at the bottom, push it towards the rear to get it unlatched. Ugh, there we go. And then it unhooks from the rear side here. And there's the latch. Underneath there is conveniently a 13mm socket. That's not true, that's my 13mm socket. But anyway, you need a 13mm socket, a ratchet. And we'll take both these bolts out. All right, I've got both bolts out and on the front. So now I'm going to move the seat all the way forward to get access to the rear fasteners. Now in the back, the seat's attached to this frame that runs across the back. So that's also a 13mm. I'm going to try and get it out with this impact. Once again, 13mm, 2 bolts. So now I'm going to move the seat back. I can just tip the seat back like so, and now I can get some access to the wiring here and do some inspection, or we'll start to unplug stuff and get the seat out of there. Here's a look underneath the seat. This here is the front of the seat, and this is the back of the seat over here. So I've got this tipped up, so the front is way up here, and this is the main connector for the seat. We probably don't want to disconnect that until we're ready to take the seat out, and because there's airbags in the seat. So the gray connector is the connector for the seat heaters. And to unplug that, we squeeze a little tab here, right here in the front, and you can just unplug it. There's 4 wires on each side of the connector. I believe this wire here, this connector is basically coming from the car, and this connector is going to the seat heater elements and the heat sensor. And what I want to do is check the ohm resistance on this plug here. So I've got the wiring diagram, and the wiring diagram shows which connectors are which. So according to the wire diagram, the heater elements is the red, I think that's black. The 2 gray wires in this plug are the sensor wires. I'm going to try and probe in from the back side of the plug and see if I can get some ohm resistance readings. Okay, so I've got no resistance between the black and the red, which means there's an open connection in the wires or in one of the seats. Now I'm going to go ahead and pull the seat out. All right, so now we get to take this connector off. The connector comes off fairly easy, as I recall. You push in this little black tab here, right in the center. And when you push that in, that unlatches this, and then you can pull this down. Pull that all the way down, and then the connector should come out, like so. Nothing blew up, so that's a good sign. This is probably a lot easier to do with 2 people, but I'm going to try and do it with 1. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Now I'm pretty sure the individual connectors for the elements are behind this flap. This flap is held down by 2 hoops, and the hoops, to get those off, you have to, I wouldn't unplug these. I'm going to try and just pull these out, and then you can unhook that loop, hoop, snap that one and unhook it. Unhook it. There we go. All right, I've got a little zip tie here I'm going to snap so I can get pull this plug out. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the seat back off. See if I can get that unhooked. Of course, I'm sure there's a correct tool for this. Come on, give it up. There we go. So the hook is on the inside. You can see it here. So it's actually hooked on the inside here. So you got to get in behind there to get it unhooked. And that comes off. So this is the center console side, and these 2 here are already unhooked. They're a T20. I've got a couple more fasteners under here and under here. They're a little bit of a stretch to get to. It's a T30. So that cover came loose. There we go. After a little bit of a struggle, I got that one loose. I'm going to guess that the rest of these are that way too. There we go. Oh, there we go. I did. I'll try and get the side cover off. The screw here is at T20. There's one down here. Got one more screw down here. And it just unhooks. Got a hook there. Got a hook here. We got a hook in here. There we go. Then we peel the seat off. This is Velcro. This blue strip is held in with some clips, and some of these clips have pulled out of the foam. I think the only thing holding it in is its good looks. Ugh. There we go. And there's the foam. So I did find the broken connection. This is where I ran a little jumper wire across from here because there was a break here. And now I can see that there's a break right here. So here, I'm going to pull this back, and to get access to the yellow-green wire, which is here, that's supposed to go up into here, and somewhere this thing is grounded. So I'm going to take a peek in here, and I just have to pull this back this way and see if I can get this one unhooked. There we go. It hooks real easy once you learn how it hooks on there. So looks like we've got wires going all different ways in here. I'm going to take this cover off. Now I broke something. I think there's a little screw right here. That's the piece I broke off. But the plug for the heater element in the seat back is right behind here. And I snapped that clip off of there. I broke this off. But there's the wires for the seat back. So I can unplug that. There's just two wires. There's a red and black. And there's that yellow with the green stripe. And there you can see 1.2, 1.3. So it appears the seat back is just fine. So all I need is the seat butt cushion. I need the butt cushion. That's all we need. As part of the process of changing this heating element, I had a big split in the foam here and a big split over here somewhere. And I didn't have very high expectations for fixing that, but I actually took some of this 3M foam and fabric 24 and sprayed it on there and then stuck it together and let it set for a while. And it's stuck on there. I'm really surprised how well it's holding. So something to keep in mind, if you have any rips or tears to fix, give it a little spray of this and see if that'll glue your foam back together. So I'm going to get a razor blade and start trimming that off. So I'm just going to take my time and try to get this off of here without pulling up too much more seat cushion. We'll see when I'm done. So the new heater element came in this nice Ford identified bag. And there's the element. And the plug is actually on the other side. Adhesive. And for reference. So I'm going to check the ohm resistance on here for reference. Stick one in there. Now this isn't the most accurate gauge, so the most important thing is to find out if I get any sort of a reading at all. And I'm getting 1.5. 1.5. So the cord plug is going to go through this hole here. I'm going to put a bend in this wire here to get it through the hole so I can get this where it needs to be. Now I've got some remnants here of my old one that I glued in here. So it's going to go right there. Let's see if we can get this. Hopefully this is a peel and stick. I'm going to put it right up to the edge here. Got this gray pushed down in here. You got to watch out, the adhesive is coming off with the backing. We want the adhesive to stay on the cloth here. Yeah, see, it started to peel up here. Okay, got that glued on. Looks like we're ready to rock and roll. So the next step is to get the cover on. And this is Velcro here, and that goes with the green Velcro up here. So that's how you make sure you got this thing oriented, because once you put these clips in, it's kind of annoying to try and get them back out. All right, so what happens? So I've got it pushed into the Velcro, and I've got this blue strip is pushed into the groove. Let me pull this white loop out a little bit, because I think that's supposed to keep the heater element from pulling up, bunching up. Okay, then we'll find those clips. I think one of them's right here. That's broken. Oh, that one went in. All right, maybe this is going to work. That one's in. Hope I'm not getting ahead of myself, because I got to do a couple of them right here. And maybe I am. Okay, we got that one in. That one's in. That one's in. Oops, that one. Clip, clip, clip. Make sure we got those wings out there. Now, as I said, that one's already broken. Got that one in. I think there's one right here. It's in. That one's in. And that should be the last one right here. And that's in. Now those blue strips, they can be slid in the slots after you get it in. So like I had to pull it a little bit this way. All right. Okay, so I've got the seat cushion in, the wire for the seat bottom running through the seat bottom cushion right here. Comes out right between all these white pieces. And now I can probe the black and red and get an ohm reading of 1.5. I can also probe from the seat back. If you pull this panel off of there, you'll find this clip back up underneath here. You pull that out. I broke the connector there. And I'm getting 1.8. So that's the resistance of the heater element in here. Oops, I want that back. And I can check them both all together. Oh, it's not plugged in. So I've got this gray connector plugged in. So I'm going to connect to the red wire here, because that red wire goes to the seat element. It comes back out, goes to the yellow with the green stripe, and that's going to go over here. And here I'm going to probe the blue with the brown stripe. And I'm getting 2.9, 2.8 resistance. So that's the resistance of both heater elements combined. Once again, there you are. So we're going to try and get the seat cushion tied down. And I've got this shoved in between the gap here. This is attached to the seat cushion. That's going to go onto these two white brackets. There we go. Then feed these through in between the metal frame and the seat cushion. That's going to come across here eventually. There it is. I'll leave that dangle here for a second because we've got to get the seat cushion pushed in and tied down. So I'm going to do the front first. And the way this goes is push the material over the top and it clips in. Fold it over like that, then fold it one more time. That one's hooked on. This one here stretches all the way down to here. That just hooks on there. Oh yeah, right here. And this one here also simply hooks on. Right there behind this motor. This is one of the double fold ones. So we take it and we fold it over, and this part here goes over like that. That clips on. This one does the same thing. Wrap that right around there, clip it on. This one here is a simple clip. It's supposed to be way down here. And we'll pull. So I think I've got all the clips on all the way around the top. So now we'll come back here. Looks like it goes underneath this connector. And it's hard to see, there's a lonely hole here. So this Christmas tree is going to plug into that hole there in the white, one of the white brackets. I'm going to say that this all goes underneath here, like that, with the Velcro. So I think I've got the seat cushion, the seat bottom cushion, fully connected. And there's that gray connector for the seat heater element. And that actually hides behind here and is connected right here, which I broke. But anyway, what I'm going to do is, just to make it inconvenient for the next guy, is I think I'm going to take a zip tie and tie that down. So this has got to go all the way up here and hook onto here. So I started by zip tying around that, and that was kind of a mistake. So instead, I'm going to zip tie through this hole kind of over the connector and then back through this hole here. That'll keep the connector from flopping around. So this one goes all the way up here. That's hooked on. And then this one, so this black plug is going to go into here, but before you do that, you'll want to hook this over the white plastic and then plug that in. We'll do the same thing with this one here. It's going to hook over this white tab. And we'll plug this back in. There we go. I think that's going to do it. Once again, everything looks pretty good here from the front. Now I'm going to put some plastic covers on. So we've got to do this one. That goes right here, hooked up here on the top, and this goes over the top of this, and this is the piece I broke, and I kind of meshed that back together with an iron. I'm trying to show you how I did this. It's a really tight fit. But anyway, kind of hook it over the top here, slide it on, and it gets hooked up here. We're going to put a small screw in over here. As I recall, it was one of the black ones. Got that snugged up. So the silver screw goes into this top rear hole. I got to push the cover forward to find that hole. And that's threaded into plastic, so don't get too crazy with tightening it. And this is going to go into this tab here. We're going to use that screw hole, and same thing down here. And then we've got the two screws here that are going to go right in there. Going to use these meaty screws with the T30. There it is. Pull the fabric out of the way. Get that one snugged up. Okay, tighten that up. Tighten that one up. Yeah, that one's hard to see, but you can see this one down here. That's going to fit right in there. It's been a while since I took this apart. I can't remember where all the screws go or what sizes. They're all different. Okay. So this clip is going to hook on here. This clip is going to hook on there. And then there should be a couple screws. There's one there and one there. So I can access those. So this connector hooked up, the electrical connector. I've got this in pretty close. And now this one, it's very dark in there. So this little screw is going to go in here. There we go. That's snugged up. And then down here to the bottom, there's actually, it looks like there's only two screws. So we'll get this one in. Doggone it, I've got one screw left. And there is one Christmas tree here to plug in that I forgot. So we'll snap that in. And this Christmas tree is going to go into here. There's the seat all put back together. One thing I realized after I got this assembled is that this piece was stuck underneath this plastic piece. You need to pull that out, and it actually goes on top of the plastic piece. And that's on both sides here. There we go. So here we are back underneath the seat, and we're going to get this connected back up before we put it in, and then I'm going to try and see if I can get some heat out of the seat before I finish bolting it down. So this plug kind of snaps right in there, and then we'll take this and snap that up like that. That's all there is to it. Now I've got the battery hooked up. I've got the seat kind of tipped forward in position. So electrically this should all be hooked up. So I'll go ahead and start this up and let it run for a while and see if we feel some heat. The seat heater's on high. I feel heat there, up here in front. Oh yeah, that's starting to warm up too. I'm going to open the garage door so I don't fill this garage up with fumes, so that I pass out and get that on video. So we're in good shape. I'm going to finish buttoning, getting the seat down, and we're going to call this done. So I got the 4 bolts in the seat, had to jockey it back and forth a little bit to get all 4 bolts to line up and get them started. And then I tightened all 4 of them up, and then I put the little plastic covers on, and we're done. So it did take a few hours. I'm going to say it probably took me about 4 hours to put the seat together and get it back in the car. But worked at a steady pace and finally got it done. So thanks for watching. I hope it helped you, and we'll talk to you later.